Welcome to our review. We're talking about a House of Gucci and the Last Duel. Yeah, that was my Jared Leto impression from the fucking House of Gucci. I just letting you right know off the bat.
Oh yeah, that movie. We'll talk about it. Okay, so this, Ridley Scott's been having quite a bit of a year. Another one of his 2 movie a year years, where because that guy just works.
What a dog, dude.
He's like, I think he's. Let me look at this. He's like 83 or 84. The guy needs to chill the fuck out.
No,
he's 83.
He's pumping out too.
Is he 83?
He's 83.
That makes sense.
Like it makes, but
it makes sense. It's just shocking.
Yeah,
in 83. I think the last time he had 2 movies in a year was I think 2001, which was Hannibal, and Black Hawk Down, which I had both like. It's a better 2 Ridley Scott movies a year than this one.
I was gonna say he did Hannibal. I don't know he did Hannibal, but I knew he did Black Hawk Down. Great. But,
yeah.
But
what's it called? It's he just keeps on working. He has a movie like every fucking year.
What a bamf.
And the only time like there's like this one point after Body of Lies, because I guess like the studios didn't want him to work as much, so they gave him a break, which is like he had like 2 years between movies. But yeah, I mean, and this guy broke out late too. He broke out like we would think that he was making movies forever, but I think like he was like 50 plus.
Yeah, I was gonna say whenever I see like shit from Alien, he already looks like he's 60 something.
Yeah,
he's always looked like an older person. But no, I think like he's one of those directors is kind of inconsistent, but like like spurts of brilliance.
Well, I think it's because like he doesn't write any of the scripts.
Yeah,
and he's just like I'm basically he's like a hired job most of the time. I mean, when he was earlier, I think he basically peaked at Thelma and Louise. 1991.
G.I. Jane.
That's even though I like the stuff afterwards that he did too, I think Gladiator was really like I have a soft spot. I really like Gladiator, but I recognize that it has its own flaws and this might be a little overrated. But
what, Gladiator?
Yeah, I love Gladiator, but I admit
I'll go to bat for Gladiator any day.
What's it called? But his peak was like the 1977 to 1991, where he was doing like Duelist, Alien, Blade Runner, Legend, not so good. Someone to watch movies, whatever.
But 1492 Conquest of Paradise. That movie is so fucking historically inaccurate. It's hilarious. Anyway,
but then but that was pretty much his peak. Even though one of my favorite movies from him is Kingdom of Heaven, 2005.
Yeah,
and that one was dope. The director's cut, not the director.
Kingdom of Heaven is one of those movies that like I just have such a love-hate relationship with. I don't
know. I do feel like Ridley Scott is one of those like directors though that isn't. Even though he's a huge name, he's like definitely not what you'd call an auteur. He just kind of makes fucking movies. Like he's only like really well known because he makes so many fucking movies.
But he's made some.
Yeah, he made
fantastic.
He's made some bad movies too, though.
Yes,
but all his bad movies though, they're not like technically bad. Like at least on a technical aspect. Even though House of Gucci was boring as fuck in terms of like on the visual side and the way shots, but it's I see technically. He's always on point. There's nothing disgusting about his films.
No, yeah, I never walked out of a Ridley Scott being like, Jesus Christ, that was a terrible film or something.
Or like it's like I mean, I have once like The Counselor and stuff, but that was
I didn't bother with that.
But I was like, but at least it was shot like competently.
Oh,
well.
You know what? Take that back. Alien Covenant. That was a real stinker.
I don't think that was terrible. I think that was like I think it was like a flawed take. No, I don't think that was terrible. I disagree with you on that. I think because like all the Michael Fassbender stuff was fantastic. You didn't think that the David stuff was cool?
I'll do the fingering.
I love that. I love that weird sexual.
I think you're no. Okay,
yeah, but and also the visual stuff, whatever. But okay,
yeah.
No, he's not inconsistent. He's consistent in his approach and his visuals. But the reason why people think he's inconsistent is because the scripts he's given, right?
Yeah,
he'll take he'll just take anything. Well, not anything. He'll take stuff, but he'll be more excited about like, ooh, this is a cool thing to do. More like this is my auteur. Maybe I think in the original stuff, like from Duelist to Thelma and Louise, like he was doing stuff that like he was very passionate about. But after that, it was more like he liked it, he'll do it.
He likes a check.
It's weird because it's like, yeah, he'll do something like Gladiator and then he'll do American Gangster, and it's like nothing alike. You wouldn't think that it's the same director.
Have you ever seen American Gangster?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I like it a lot. Have you?
Yeah, I watched it like as a teenager and I remember really liking it, and then I actually owned the Blu-ray for some reason, and I remember like trying to rewatch it and not getting through it, so maybe I'm just due for another rewatch eventually.
Yeah, I think a rewatch is worth it because I remember actually on a rewatch I remembered I was like, oh shit, like this movie is the two main characters hardly interact like at all.
No, I don't know.
Way less than I remembered. And I was like,
the cop and the gangster, right?
Yeah.
And that's how it was in
Denzel
real
Washington,
life.
Russell Crowe.
Like it's just the marketing made it seem like they were.
Yeah, makes sense.
It was just annoying. It's like, hey,
Anyway, but let's
Gary
talk
Oldman's
about
in
these
that,
two
right?
movies.
Sorry, really
though.
quick. Gary Oldman's in that, right?
No.
Who's the?
It's Russell Crowe and Denzel Washington.
Who's the corrupt cop?
Oh, fuck.
Oh.
Josh Brolin.
Josh
Josh
Brolin.
He
Yeah.
kills himself at the end, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
That's the only thing I remember about the movie.
All right.
Yeah.
So, what's it called? So he's been kind of on a critical rise lately. Like, regardless of your opinions on Alien Covenant, and critical and commercial success, except all the money in the world. But yeah, with The Martian, he came back and he got his first Best Picture nomination in years.
What a guy.
And what's it called? And that was, I think partly because it was a good pair of like Ridley Scott visuals with Drew Goddard script. I love Drew Goddard. He wrote Cabin in the Woods.
Great writing.
And then he did Alien Covenant. Regardless of what you think about the film, it did do well critically and commercially. And
did it do well critically? I feel like
yeah,
just bitched and complained about
it
it.
was like 60.
I did not hear anybody
It
say
wasn't
good
like it wasn't
reviews.
critically acclaimed, but it was like 67, 68. So it was on the more positive side actually. And then All the Money in the World, which I think is actually his best. I personally liked it a little bit more than Martian. One of his best films in the world, which is about I think the Rockefeller kid getting kidnapped and stuff. Yeah, it was a pretty big. Well, I mean, the actual incident was pretty huge, so I was excited to see it, and I was surprised nobody saw it. Yeah, and I'm like, okay.
Well, it sounds like you're talking about The Last Duel.
Yeah, and then and I was like, wow, this is cool. It was like Ridley Scott with energy. Like I guess he was really passionate about the topic, and the camera was moving, and I was like, wow, you're not 80 anymore, right? Oh, good for you. And then House of Gucci happens. We'll talk about that. But this year he comes out swinging because I think he has all this critical and commercial clout now, and people are giving him any money because let's be honest. No one in their right mind with actual like financial sense will give somebody $100 million to make a Rashomon style historical epic film, regardless if it has Ben Affleck, Matt Damon, or anything like that.
Seriously tragic, like a brutal story.
Yeah, I mean,
Very
I feel like
brutal
this might have
storyline.
been done. This might have been successful like 10 years ago.
A film that was so unseen, even half our panel hasn't watched
Dude,
it.
I know. Yeah, these fucks. Yeah, I'm just kidding.
It's funny, even like
well,
on
actually,
like,
technically, Miles sitting out this episode, so just Blake hasn't seen
oh
it.
yeah, so a third of us.
Yeah. What's it called? Didn't do their fucking homework.
I was gonna say, like even on like some film groups that like I'm like like there's like an A24 fucking Facebook group, and like half the people were
You
there.
use Facebook, you fucking boomer.
I don't. It's there. I legit don't want it anymore, and I'm pretty
500
sure,
million
like,
people still do. So it's
cancel
like,
it. But
fucking boomer.
But I was gonna say, like, even on there, where it was like an A24 film people, so these people are like, they really assume that they're like real film people. Like half of them were like, I didn't even fucking hear of this movie. So it's like those are like actual try to like want to be film buffs, So it's like
it's not even just that. I think because there was promotions in television, there was money spent on it. It's just
promotion.
like. I guess just like millennial or millennial Gen Z. Like,
I saw a poster, like I saw like a billboard, going off the freeway, but I was like, what is that? Like,
yeah, and also like
what it was.
with the way algorithms will work, it's like if they could tell that you're not interested in it, they're not going to send you advertisements for Last Duel.
That's fair because again, it's a medieval drama, and most people don't give a shit about that.
They give a shit about it if it's on TV. It's weird. They give a shit about on TV. Like when it's on TV, it's like one of the highest rated shows of all time. But then when movies,
well, I don't even think I've seen a fucking trailer for this movie.
There was. We watched it together when it came out.
When?
I was like, when we were still covering news topic and stuff, I was like, hey, did you see? Like, I remember I was forcing
No, but I'm saying like naturally, I never came across a trailer.
Oh yeah.
Like in the theaters, I never saw one. I never saw
no. It came out in theaters. The trailers.
I'm
and
gonna
stuff.
say
Yeah.
I don't know if I remember watching a theater one.
Yeah,
to be honest.
Like I don't think, and I watch.
Yeah.
I don't.
Front of what?
Spoiler alert: we watch a lot of fucking movies.
Do you? I'm just kidding.
I
Maybe
have
in
not
front of
seen
like
a
Pig or
trailer
something.
for it.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't even want to watch it now because Ridley Scott's the millennials on their cell phones.
Was it Ridley Scott who said that about millennials?
Wait, I sent the article. Yeah, he said that.
Okay, because I was gonna say I did see the article about them being like millennials aren't watching this movie, and it's like what the fuck? Like I don't know. I felt offended. I watched the movie and I really liked it, but I was like,
I get it, but he's 83.
Yeah, I know.
He's old. Let's be honest. Most people in 80 are like they kind of cranky as assholes. Yeah, so it's like, what's it called? You know what's got, but no, actually, if amongst the two, I'm sad that you watch House of Gucci over this. Watch House of Gucci over fucking Last Duel, the fucking shit film.
Sad.
Well, okay, so and you know, and you know what's sad? So
about the Gucci. Yeah.
so the budget for Last Duel, it'll be mostly just us two talking because you know Blake didn't watch it.
Great poster too.
The Last Duel, it's you know, it's unfortunate. I mean, like you know, made so little money. I mean, I honestly expect that I even think the marketing it should have. Because look, it's the first time Matt Damon and Ben Affleck have been in. I think it's since Go to a Hunting, right?
Yeah,
on screen together since Go to a Hunting, and they wrote it together too, right? That the marketing push should have put that in there. Even though I liked watching this film in theaters, I really do. I love it. But if I was like pure financial, like if I was like a financial analyst, if I was a company executive, or I owned this film, I would have tried to sell this to like I would sell this to a streaming service.
Yeah, right.
Because it's like even though I think it deserves to be on screen, but I think just like financially it makes no sense to put, especially in the pandemic.
Yeah.
When the older demographic who would watch this film, like especially American moviegoers are terrible, will not watch this movie.
No, yeah.
You're gonna get millennials. You only got the weird millennials to watch it. That's why I only made like 10. So overall,
I watched it with like 3 people in the theater.
Yeah. Surprisingly, when I watched it at 2:30, because I watched it at like this what's it called, weird like the award screener link, and but I wanted to watch it in theater, so I went to watch it in theater. Surprisingly, the one at 2:30 p.m. in like Ontario Mills, the one that Miles almost went to, but I think it had to do with his car. It was surprisingly packed. I was like surprised. I was like, why? I was like, I'm not saying that this like in the whys in this film is bad. It's like, why are you guys watching this?
In Los Angeles County. So
yeah, Ontario Mills.
Ontario Mills.
Yeah, Ontario Mills.
Oh, okay. Well, I guess still SoCal.
Yeah,
we're like movie people here, but I doubt if you go to like Minnesota, they're gonna find.
Oh no, it was empty as fuck. Yeah. So I mean, literally, I think a House of Gucci is gonna make more money this weekend. And just this weekend, I think it's like projecting like 30 million or something. Oh, 30 plus. Well deserved. Or 20 something million. But it's gonna make more money this weekend in like 5 days than Last Duel made worldwide. And this is just America. Worldwide and from October 15th to now. So like a month plus. So that's just sad as fuck.
Let's talk about the actual movie itself.
Yeah,
right?
this is all part of it. I think this is all part of the conversation because this is the only thing we have to add because you know our house didn't watch it.
I'd say
it's like
it's a good movie.
Yeah, I loved it. It's like I said, it's directed by Ridley Scott, written by Ben Affleck, Matt Damon, and Nicole Holofcener or something. I forgot. I love her work. She did like Enough Said and stuff like that with one of James Gandolfini's last performances. She's great. She's fantastic. Apparently, they begged her to come in and write the female perspective of the story, which I think was a smart choice.
Yes.
And then because I know most people were like there was controversy too on this film
before it came out.
Yeah, it was so stupid. They were like, oh my god, why are 2 people?
Okay. So really quick, Miles and Blake here. Let's have you as the audience subservience or audience stand-ins who have not seen the movie. Are you aware of the concept of this film at all?
No.
Yes, I am.
I don't know anything.
So Miles,
because Blake doesn't know history.
To be fair, I had no idea either. I had no idea coming into this.
I have a higher IQ than you.
So I wanted to see this movie. It literally just didn't work out. There was the time when I was going to go see it with Philip, and then I had car issues, and then last night I had to take care of some family stuff when I was planning on going to see it. So it was a thing of circumstance where it was just like it was out of theaters before I really had time to see it, and now it's just playing in limited theaters, and it's getting
hard.
It's hard
to
hard to
watch drive an hour to fucking go see it yesterday.
Yeah.
So wait, why did you guys watch it yesterday? I know why you didn't at the later show. Then why did you guys go?
I mean, I gotta be honest. I was just hungover beyond belief and didn't want to leave.
Okay, that's fine. Okay, go to the mouse. What do you want to say?
Friendsgiving.
Oh
man.
yeah. So I had been traveling a lot during its release window. When it was,
give us your excuse. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, these are all excuses.
No, but it's fine. Okay, so basically the point is the story is based off of a true life event where these 2 knights had to fight to the death to prove the innocence or guilt of one of them, because one of them had accused the other of raping his wife in his castle while no one was home. And they apparently were like former best friends or something, or close friends at the very least. And the guy was like, no, fuck no, I didn't rape your wife. So then they had to fight to the death for it. And
Yeah,
it was very easy for, I think, most people to understand why there was criticism that came out first ahead of time, because they were like, wait. Oh, this movie is like about this woman's assault and tragedy and whatever and trauma
from the men's perspective.
Yeah, from a men's perspective, fighting to the death over it. And it's like, yeah, I could see why you think that, but also you haven't watched the fucking movie, because the movie is nothing like that.
No,
where they take her perspective very seriously,
and it says the truth.
Yeah, it is the dominant perspective because it's told across 3 different stories. The first half is you see what's his name, Matt Damon's character's perspective as he the events as he perceives them, right, and as he testifies for them, and he saves Adam Driver's life in this battle. He's kind of this like stoic kind of hero guy that he thinks everyone respects but never quite gets exactly what he wants, whatever.
And then Josh Legree, played by Adam Driver, that's the second perspective.
Yeah, Adam Driver's perspective, which I loved, was like his where he sees like he sees Matt Damon as this blumbering idiot that's like can barely like speak at times. Like it's kind of comical at moments, but like in a
and they
good
even
way.
have like modern what's it called, modern vernacular was like fucking shit or something like
he's
that.
All few stupid like I love in Adam in Matt Damon's version when he like gives that speech like yelling, basically cursing everyone out. He sounds like eloquent and like whatever, and then you hear Adam Driver's version, he's like, you guys, you're jerks, you stupid dumb assholes, fuck you, and like he leaves. I'm like, and I love as you understand that the truth is probably somewhere in the middle, right? And then of course in both their stories you find out that Matt Damon's wife, like, or he comes home and then she tells him like,
Marguerite.
Adam Driver, like he raped me, right? And then he's like, oh my god, he's like, are you serious? Like, oh no, he freaks out about it. Then you see in Adam Driver's perspective how he views the assault, and it is still just fucked up and uncomfortable and grimy, and it is very clear with anyone with any kind of fucking compassion would understand that is still assault.
Yeah, but he sees it. He sees the nose as. Oh, well, let's get into that perspective thing. But yeah, he sees the nose as like nose as in like sexual. Please, like, oh no, don't do this. But I really want you to do this. Yeah, and he sees it as a crime of passion, but not like it. But it's a sexual affair, less than a rape.
Yes.
Yeah.
Even though, again, watching it and experiencing it still feels like, man, I don't think this was like consensual at all.
And especially when you get to
perspective,
and when you get to like the truth.
Yeah. And then you see, of course, then the part where I think the film really seals it is, and then you see, lady, what was her name?
It's a Marguerite.
Lady Marguerite's perspective, and that's the part where the movie's like, actually becomes complete, where you see how she views everything, how Adam Driver's character, she was like, yeah, she thought he was a nice guy, but she wasn't like fawning over him like he thought she was. And then how Matt Damon thinks that he's like this awesome, noble sir who is like deserving all this respect, and it turns out no, he's kind of a lumbering idiot.
Not even just that, he's like an abusive husband, or
he's kind of an asshole.
Yeah,
and it's like she's just kind of stuck
in the middle
of this like shitstorm. And then of course of the assault, which was brutal to watch, man.
Yeah,
it goes on, and you see the reality of it, and it's just horrifying in every aspect, and you just feel for this poor woman. Because then having to be a sexual assault victim in the fucking medieval times is hard as hell. Turns out that like anywhere she tries to talk about it, everyone is like either shut the fuck up and don't talk about it, or just like get over it.
And remember that one scene where like, oh, you probably got pregnant from your rape, so pregnancy can't happen from rape, so you must have not got raped.
Yeah.
And I was like,
wow.
It's just an actual like how some of the proceedings went. Yeah, and I think like so like I guess brief historical context. So this is also based on the I think the nonfiction book or fictionalized telling of this book called The Last Duel, a true story of trial by combat in medieval France by Eric Jaeger. And this is actually about the last sanctioned duel in France.
Yeah,
and because the political repercussions and just the violence
from
and
one of the King Louis.
Yeah, it's just like it was so huge that they were like, yeah, we shouldn't do this anymore. If anything, I think I was like when I heard about this, I was super excited. All my AP Euro guys were like, yeah, it's like because it was just it's just a wild event that happened, and it's like in a weird way. And Marguerite's also been kind of seen as a feminist icon for France.
Good reason,
yeah, because she actually stood up for a thing with much risk,
so much.
Yeah.
Because when she puts her when she comes out with this testimony, they're like, if you're lying about this, you're literally gonna die. we will literally kill you,
Burn you on
in a
stake.
medieval manner. Like,
Yeah.
it's not going to be easy, man. We're going to like skin you alive and burn you at the torch. Like, it's going to be fucked up and then like her husband makes everything worse by then saying, I'm going to fight trial by combat style on this. And she's like, great. Now, if I just have to like wait and see if you fucking die or not, because if you do die, then I have to fucking pay the consequences here. And it's, if you don't die, then it's like I don't know, then it just doesn't make that much of a difference. Like, I like how they focus on that too, where she's basically like, this is about all the shit that I've had to deal with up to this point. You know, like I had to deal with this traumatizing event, and now it's coming down to these two dudes fighting. Each other to the death.
And I do like it, like when, you know, what's called Matt Damon's character, which is the real life John the Carouge.
How they're preserving their own honor rather than like, you know, no one gives a shit about her, really.
Exactly. And they don't make it like, oh yeah, like he fucking won. They don't make it a victory. It's actually kind of horrifying in a way, because they you know, the camera focuses on her. The music is not celebratory music. It's kind of very somber and tragic. Right. And then they make it seem, they go like, no, this is kind of horrifying that this happened. Because like, you know, at that time, women, especially married women, were viewed as property, right? Yeah. And in the film, like when they try it, they don't do it as a sexual assault trial. It's more like assault on property.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or like damage against property. And that's how they proceeded. It was just horrifying.
Owe me, man. You raped my wife. That's not cool.
And I saw some criticism that they said it wasn't as harsh on the systemic, you know, gender inequality of that time, or it wasn't as poignant in its criticisms. I'm like, one, I think it is, and two, I think like this is pretty much what happened. I'll buy some historical liberties, and this is just what happened, right?
If anything, I felt like it felt like it was spoon feeding you a little bit at times, for being like, I've got raped and I didn't say anything about it, so then you shouldn't say anything about it. Where I was like, okay, maybe this isn't exactly how people spoke, but I understand what they're trying to get across here. But like, no, I think it was very critical of the time period, and showed like a lot of that. The proceedings itself, again, horrifying for someone to to survive an assault and then have to deal with questions of like, you know, how did you get pregnant if you didn't love the person who assaulted you?
Yeah,
like it's barbaric as fuck. And they're asking her, again, very personal questions like, do you enjoy having sex with your husband? Did you enjoy this assault? Like, it's just like, oh my god.
And
like,
remember they used the whole thing of like her character, but her friend's a piece of shit. Her friend says somebody saying, oh, you know, they said that your friend said you thought Jacques Legris was handsome. Yeah,
it's like as if that's a good excuse. Like, Jesus.
Yeah, that doesn't mean that you didn't get raped.
It doesn't mean shit.
You know
like, it's just so stupid.
It's like saying like, oh, Ted Bundy's good looking. It's okay for him to murder all those females. I'm like, no, it doesn't work that way.
And also, he's kind of weird looking.
Yeah, he is. I don't know. I don't get. Some people really think it's whatever. That's weird.
You talking about Adam Driver or Ted Bundy?
Ted Bundy.
What's both? Called? Honestly, I think Adam Driver's not like the most handsome guy.
You know the thing is, looks.
You know the thing is, amongst dudes, they don't think he's good looking, but like, at least amongst a lot of the girls that I ask, and also like on Maxim's top 100 sexiest, they think he's like, they think he's super sexy and super handsome.
He is super hot.
I think a lot of, like,
the thing is, I kind of see it
persona. Yeah, no, I'm not saying he's not.
Dude, he's like a 6'7" fucking giant with a fucking beautiful, like, not perfectly symmetrical but still good looking face. And like Philip, dude. So like, it's funny. It's ironic because it turns out he's a terrible person in this movie, and I had no idea. But I remember like when the only thing I've seen about this movie was girls like I'm friends with on Facebook sharing pictures of Adam Driver from this movie and going like, oh my god.
Oh yeah, he's insanely ripped too, by the way.
Yeah.
He's always been insanely ripped though.
Yeah. Okay. One last thing about this, I want to say, the accents were the worst part of the movie.
Well, I think it's on purpose because like the accents change based on perspective.
Really?
Yeah, that's what they did on purpose.
Oh, fuck, I didn't catch that.
Yeah,
but I was gonna say it felt like they were changing from scene to scene.
Yeah, no, I mean like I think that's Matt Damon's perspective is supposed to be like a mix, a little bit more towards, you know, traditional.
Yeah,
and then and Jacques Legris is supposed to be like not so much.
Yeah,
and then Marguerite was like supposed to be more historically accurate.
See, I was gonna say the person who felt the most consistent for sure was Marguerite and Adam Driver.
By the way, Matt Damon, as much as I love Matt Damon, I think he did well in showing the different perspective. I get the marketing appeal, but I don't think Matt Damon, oddly enough, Ben Affleck, I actually thought he was okay as Count Pierre.
Yeah, he was okay.
You know, he was supposed to be the Jacques Legris character.
I think that would have been good
because the whole, but then I guess he switched out for scheduling conflicts, and also because I think he didn't want to play that character, so they got Adam Driver instead. which I honestly think was a better choice because I think Adam Driver was fantastic. Like
Yeah.
whatever he does, I believe him in anything he does.
Yeah.
He's one of our best living actors today.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and then like, have you guys seen Marriage Story by any chance? You have, right? Yeah,
I love Marriage
fantastic in that
Yeah.
film. I actually think he should have won over Joaquin Phoenix, even though I think Joaquin Phoenix was very good.
Joaquin Phoenix.
What's
you
it
don't
called?
think Joker is the greatest movie ever made?
I do, Murray.
What's it called? It's
Tired of acting like I don't.
and what's it called? So, and he's like a chameleon. Is insane range.
Chameleon.
I mean, what's it called? So in this one, so when he did this one, like, you know, the mannerisms, the way he spoke, his accents, the way he walks, even the way he like fidgets his eyes, like it's just so on point. Like, I'm like, yeah,
he was fantastic.
but not gonna lie, Matt Damon and Ben Affleck, it might be because of their public persona, but they're so Bostonian. It's like I kind of laugh when I see them try to become this medieval character. It's
Yeah,
like,
I think
I think it's just a little out of their league.
Ben Affleck was the one I felt
but Ben Affleck was fine
least
because you know why? Because he's a side character. Thank God he wasn't. Thank God he wasn't Karuj.
Yeah. I liked Matt Damon's character for the most part because again, like that first part where he feels like the over you know, the stoic hero kind of type character, but then when it shows you like, oh, that's not really how he is, that's just how he views himself, that felt kind of like that's kind of sealed it. I was like, oh, okay, that makes a little more sense. And then in the second part when he's like this big dumb oaf, I was like, it just his performance actually kind of made sense for me. Like it kind of worked for me in those senses.
His actual like performance was fine. It's just like, I just think it was miscast in terms of like, because you know you do have to include like public perception of like the actor into the character. That it for me personally took me out a little bit. I think he did good.
My mom was like, I don't know why they made him look so ugly in the movie.
Well, he is ugly.
And I was like, it made sense though because he's like this old, literally like battle scarred like soldier who's fought in countless battles, who's just kind of this big gruff dumb moron. So like it made sense where but his stupid his terrible looking mullet and everything, which I understand historically accurate, so I give him props for like doing that, but like he did not look visually appealing at all in this movie. Which is again I didn't think was it's not a complaint at all, but
at least Ben Affleck, he could look like a count, like just visually his
little like his little like top haircut thing was a little fucking weird,
but like Matt Damon, like I just wish they got like maybe another like British French actor or French actor instead. That's also on the same cloud level as money.
Timothy Chalamet, he should be in everything, right?
I would love to get a time machine and see. Okay, this perfect Timothy Chalamet 39. Can someone travel in the future and get it back? That guy really can't do anything, by the way. So. And speaks like 5 different languages. So he's
Timothy Chalamet.
So
Tim Chameleon.
So I think for me ultimately I think that was pretty good. But Adam Driver and Jodie Comer is a standout, by the way, who plays Marguerite.
Yes,
she's having a great year this year. I mean, she's already on the rise with Killing Eve, the TV series. You guys haven't seen that show, right?
No.
And you guys haven't seen Free Guy by any chance?
No.
No. We're gonna watch that, by the way, for our year-end special.
It looks like fucking that stupid Adam Sandler movie, Pixel.
No, it's actually, I'll say this, for an original IP film, I'm pleasantly surprised. I had no expectations. I actually had low expectations, but we'll get into that. But she was fantastic in that film, standout.
Yeah.
So in this one, maybe this rumor talks of Oscar nomination. Her chances are kind of low right now because nobody saw this film.
She should absolutely get some kind of nomination at the very least.
Yeah, and she's great.
Including Adam Driver. I swear to God, if he gets a nomination for House of
Gucci. He's gonna get it for House of Gucci. If he's gonna get it. You know why? Because it's like and the thing is, House of Gucci though, he's not gonna get nominated for House of Gucci, but if he was, it would be House of Gucci.
Leto gets nominated for this.
He's gonna get nominated.
I'm gonna fucking throw.
But we'll get into that in a bit.
Window.
But okay, so
let's throw you through the window.
He says that, and then we're gonna have like 4 episodes on the Oscars. What's it called?
I don't want to.
What's it called? But what's it called? It's not a film van, but I'm just kidding. I'm just joking. But then so it's so I mean ultimately I thought the most interesting part. So let's get into structure and Ridley Scott's direction. The script we already talked about. I think it was really interesting what they did. Okay. But for the script, I think the structure, doing a very Rashomon approach. Apparently they were just like watching Rashomon before doing this, and they were like, we should do it like, have you seen Rashomon? We haven't seen it together.
I have not seen it.
Oh my, we have to see it soon.
I know.
We're gonna have to see it.
I definitely understood it like that's what they were doing.
Yeah.
Like, you know, I know enough about it to be like, oh yeah,
Yeah.
like Rashomon.
What's it called? Like, Rashomon's still better, but it's
and also, hey Henry, I don't know if you know Rashomon. Rashomon is a Japanese story directed by Akira Kurosawa. Basically shows the same story and through various perspectives.
Yeah, it's wild. That one's wilder, cool visual style. But it's what's it called? And I think that was probably, I know there's some criticisms online saying that it made the story feel dragged or it felt repetitive, but I felt like in this case, especially with a multi-perspective story, it made sense to structure it this way.
Yeah, no,
because
absolutely.
you want to see the little differences. The whole point, I think, for me, the fun was seeing the difference in details. The devil's in the details.
Yes, and I like to seeing like basically the in between scenes with each character that the other characters weren't present for. Right?
Yeah.
So like when Matt Damon's character gets like the deed for the land, and he's like, what the fuck is up with this, right? They go back and they show Adam Driver's perspective of that, where he's like, I want this land, bitch, you know what I mean? And then like also when they did have those same overlapping moments, like the most crucial one being when they arrived at the party, right?
Yeah.
Seeing the different perspective from all three characters.
You're like,
this is how they interpreted that meeting. This is how they all
especially the kiss that,
yes,
which was great. I love that.
Very important.
Yeah,
where the first time she's like, give this man a kiss, and then she's like, yeah, all right, and kisses him. The second one, Adam Driver's like, oh dude, she's so into me, bro. And the third one where she's clearly so uncomfortable, but she's like, I gotta do this, okay. I don't know, it's just
It's good.
Great.
I love that. And once again, Jodie Comer was fantastic. And Jodie Comer and Adam Driver particularly.
Yeah, no, it's great.
And what's it called? So I think that was cool. And I obviously, I mean, it was a little on the nose, but it made sense why they did it. Where when part 3 happened, where it's Marguerite's truth. Yeah. But it takes on Marguerite and it just says truth. Which and most likely and historically, and for people who are like, you sue SJW so for the female. Historically, most likely she got raped. The evidence points that she got raped.
Yeah.
So it's like,
why the fuck would
this is
someone
actually
in
what
medieval
happened.
times come out for no fucking reason?
Yeah,
like
for
to
all
literally
this.
potentially die and be burned alive.
And there was actually like some type of evidence that, or they were like some type of where Jacques Legree was. He was most likely in that area too. Yeah.
That makes sense.
So like it's what's it called? So historically, she got raped. It's an actual thing. Get over it, people. It's not a Me Too. I mean, it is Me Too in a sense, but like it's not like virtue signaling. This is just what happened.
Yeah.
And I think it's good. I think it makes sense, and we should be on her side on this. We should. Definitely. Yeah. And what do you think about the last fight? I was like, whoa.
Yeah, it was awesome. It made me like really miss the days of like, Gladiator, Ridley Scott, Kingdom of Heaven kind of stuff. Yeah. Like he clearly likes using like knights and armor and sword fights and stuff, and it
visceral.
It came to play. Yeah, like it was two dudes that were fighting each other, both like clearly not in their prime, and it was like it just felt exhausting as they're like just starts off with them lance, using the lances at first, and then it goes to hand combat where they're literally grappling in the mud. And the way it ends, brutal, but like
through the mouth,
satisfying. He just shoves a dagger into his fucking mouth and it comes out the back of his head.
That was like great. That was like Ridley Scott in his best, and I think that's why when we get into Hasaguchi, I think this was a better fit because he's a very a detail-oriented director, right? Yeah. So when a movie is about devil in the details, this works so well, especially and also with this is he's proven in the past that he's really good with historical epics or historical biopics. Yeah. So. We'll get to Hasaguchi, but it's so I think his direction here worked well, and the muted color for the color palette and the color grading works for this film because of a dark dreary tale, and it is supposed to be very somber, not for Hasaguchi, but in this one it works really well, I think. So I think Ridley Scott, fantastic, good job for you. I'm not gonna say the same for Hasaguchi, but
all right, you want to give us a rating?
You go first.
All right, so I'm giving this one. I forgot what our thing is below the museum. On the shelf. There it is. On the shelf. I really love this movie. Probably one of my favorite movies of the year. It's up there. I think it was just acting was well done. It looked fantastic. The storytelling kept me hooked. I went into it just like kind of on a whim. Like I just saw this a couple weeks ago just because like I just wanted to watch a movie, and I was so pleasantly surprised. Awesome. Yeah, loved it.
Same thing on the shelf. Please actually do buy it, support it. I do love this film. Pretty much echoing his thoughts. It's one of the better films this year. It shouldn't have bombed. I mean, critically did well too, and the audience rating was high, like 85 Rotten Tomatoes. Metacritic was high. What's it called?
Yeah, go watch.
Just watch it, please. It's actually it doesn't matter. It's out of theaters. It got fucked. And you
Rent
know
it when you can.
Yeah, you know, if you believe in Ridley Scott's, it's all the millennials who don't want to learn anything on their fucking phones.
Watch it on a plane. Watch it on your phone.
No, don't don't do that.
Watch it on
watch it on a plane is my weird rating for movies that are A. Almost all Marvel movies get it.
What's it
You're
called?
a Marvel movie.
Okay, so now
so
we're gonna get
far
into
from a
his
Marvel
second
movie.
film and whether we think is a better fit. It
House
is
of
House
Gucci.
of Gucci.
Hey,
All right, all of watch. And you know what? I do
Gucci.
want Miles to get on this because I
Miles,
feel like
you better-
Miles. What's it called? I think.
House of Gucci.
Okay.
Just straight up,
yeah,
Miles'
Alright.
favorite movie of the year. He told us
Yeah, he
beforehand.
said that he couldn't believe it.
All right, so
No.
okay,
Wow, this is
so
much
okay,
better
so
than
brief.
Last Night in Soho.
Okay, so brief. What's it called? The House of Gucci is directed by Ridley Scott, and
It's got the worst logline I've ever heard. The official one on IMDb.
What is
yeah,
it?
it's pretty much.
Should I pull it up?
What's
Yes,
it called?
pull it up when you
Pull
get
it
a
up.
chance.
Okay, what is
Philip,
it?
you
Well, I'll
go.
say- well, okay, so pretty much it's about the fall of the Gucci dynasty and how they lost control of the company, and at the same time, following the relationship between producer Reggiani and Mauricio Gucci, and his eventual murder at her hands.
Mauricio.
Yeah,
All right, let me read this. It's really I don't know. I just find it funny and kind of as the Zoomers say, that's pretty cringe, bro. When Patricia Reggiani, an outsider from humble beginnings, marries into the Gucci family, her unbridled ambition begins to unravel their legacy and triggers a reckless spiral of betrayal, descendants, revenge, and ultimately ... murder.
I mean that's pretty much what has happened.
I know,
That is
but
accurate.
it's-
So
I don't know. I found that
Yeah.
to be
That- I
the
feel
most
like
over dramatic.
I feel like that's what the film should have been, like over dramatic and
Yes.
weird and
Yeah.
stuff like that. And also, okay, so like for me,
I think Jared Leto got the memo for being over dramatic and
it's
stupid.
I think that's he got the thing. Okay, so let's get into like kind of like tone and stuff like that for or historical context for this film. You know, Gucci, what's it called? It's what's it called? So the Gucci family dynasty is pretty interesting overall. It's like Gucci was found by Gucci about in 1920, 100 years ago. And it's, you know, he flourished it. It's a clothing brand. You guys all know this is what, you know, my girlfriend wants me to get her all the time. I tell her, no, I'm broke. But eventually over, you know, its descendants, incompetent descendants, they lost control. But in a weird way, when it's no longer in the family control, has flourished into this publicly listed $60 billion value company.
Yeah, it turns
and-
out all you need is a fashion genius like Tom Ford.
Exactly.
Pull your ass out of the fire.
That's it called.
Iraqis.
Yeah, but then the actual you know the family dynasty stuff, especially the fall of you know how they lost the company is like kind of interesting. It mainly follows how you know the in between battles between like what's to say whether it's Maurizio and Patricia versus Paolo Gucci or Rodolfo taking away from Mauricio or Aldo in this movie played by Al Pacino, and how he got kicked out by Mauricio. It's a lot of internal political things happening, and there was a lot of
Sounds like a good time, right?
yeah. It
Yeah,
sounds like there's a
it
lot
Sounds
of
like a good
it
time.
sounds a
Breaking
lot
down.
of cool. Yeah, it's a lot of cool like and in the end marred by tragedy with Maurizio getting killed by
Yeah.
you know the Black
Pow.
Widow. That's what they list her as. Yeah,
And there was a lot of interweaved interrelational stuff that could have worked well.
Great story
as
of
a TV
romance,
series.
of
I
love and
really
loss.
want to say this. I think that they chose the wrong format to release this.
I
story.
agree.
Yeah,
I
I
agree.
agree.
I don't think it
Yes.
should have been a movie. It really should have been an 8 to 10 part miniseries. I think that it would have flowed well that way, and it would have done a lot better.
Yeah.
In terms
Yeah,
of
because my biggest problem with this fucking movie, besides the editing, is it's 2 hours and fucking 40 minutes. There's a lot going on, but it kind of feels like nothing ever matters. Like when you break down this movie, like what it is, this could have been great. This could have been a really fucking interesting fall of an empire kind of movie.
Yeah.
And you know, I love watching like fucking white collar crime movies. That's like one of my favorite genres. But it's just it flows so weird where a big scene will happen. It feels like it should have a lot of consequences, and then it jumps to the next thing, and it's just like, whatever. That didn't really matter. Nothing really flows. It's edited weird. The important moments don't really matter. I feel like we don't get enough of like smaller moments either. It feels like there's too many big moments where you need those smaller moments too to actually breathe. This movie doesn't
exactly.
breathe.
That's where it would have benefited from being a
exactly.
miniseries.
It would have been
it
great.
Felt both too long and too short.
Yeah.
Like there was this movie had me in the first half, not gonna lie. I was like really into it. I would like the Lady Gaga relationship. I liked I think Lady Gaga had a fantastic performance.
She's no perfect in this film.
Jeremy Irons was killing it as like the gruntled old, former leader of the household. Al Pacino did great. He was kind of hamming it up, but like in little moments that kind of just gave it a little bit more fun energy. But he was also like
one of the few actual Italians.
And they have him say one fucking Italian line in the whole goddamn movie. Everyone else is just speaking with these stupid accents, and not as bad as Jared fucking Leto. Jesus Christ, I do not understand. I do not understand how people like his performance.
You know what he said? He said, "If you scrape my skin, it'll be Parmesan cheese. If you got my oil, I did olive oil. I mean, if you got my blood, it'd be olive oil." The actual comments from Jared Leto.
Oh my god.
Yeah, he's like, it's my love letter to Italy.
It's so fucking insulting, dude. Like I'm not even like Italian, but I would have felt insulted. I mean, I'm kind of Italian.
You know the weird thing is about the thing about in this. What's atrocious is that they make Paulo Gucci like a real dumbass idiot, and he was bad at like finances and stuff. Like there's documentaries on it on Netflix. You guys all watch it.
They make him like Luigi from The Simpsons. Like,
but then the thing is, but the thing is, in real life, he was a chief creative officer for Gucci for a while, and the only reason why he was fired is because they manipulate. By the way, this is so historically inaccurate what they did in this film. The only reason why they fired him, and he wasn't fired by Maurizio. He didn't have a cease and desist from Maurizio and Patricia. He had it from while Aldo and Rodolfo were still alive, the dads.
Oh.
Yeah. And he got kicked out because of that, because he was like trying to make some side money on the side, and he got fired. And he's actually the one who invented the logo.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so that's why it's weird as fuck. I'm like, why are they making him so bad in this film?
Yeah, they just shit on him for most of the movie, but at the same time they kind of build him up like he's a little puppy, like he's just like, it's okay, you don't know what you're doing.
And then he's not that ugly too. Like, okay, like I'm just gonna show everyone a picture. Like he looks like a normal Italian dude. Like
he looks like a super pervert, just saying.
Yeah,
he looks like a normal Italian dude. He got fatter later on, but like
they made him look like some. Oh god, man, it's so ridiculous.
Honestly, he looks.
But the thing is,
like he directed porn.
I'll say this though. But I kind of dug what he was going for. You know why? Because I think like if the whole movie was like that, where they purposely weren't trying to base it on reality at all, they just used the Gucci as some weird framework to make something really fucking weird. And I think like then
a fun camp film.
Yeah, if anything, I'll say this: Jared Leto and Lady Gaga. Though I think Lady Gaga does it way better. They knew what type of movie they should have been in. Yeah. Everybody else was taken too seriously, and also honestly, they shouldn't have been English language. This shouldn't have been done by Americans. Mm-hmm. This should have been done just like an Italian language, like a series on HBO Max or something like that, or Netflix.
Yeah,
because let's be honest, most of the time, when they're having just conversation with one another, they're probably not speaking American in Italian accent. They're probably just speaking fucking Italian. Yeah. And you had Adam Driver. I don't know if he's a Jew or not, but then like he has played a lot of Jews, especially in Black Klansman. And for him to play as one of the most famous Italians ever, I'm like, that's so fucking weird. And then he did fine. But
I think
like,
he would have been fine.
He did fine. Like I said, he's an amazing actor. That's why he pulled it off.
The part where he's playing soccer with the truck driver guys.
That's actually like my favorite part of the fucking movie.
It's a great part. But it's just kind of funny how like he's like 3 feet taller than everybody else. Yeah. He doesn't look remotely Italian.
It's like
okay, but that scene to me, it felt like it just didn't really make sense in the film. Like it was so dramatically different from like what the rest of the film.
I mean,
I get what you're saying.
It just felt out of place.
I get it. No, but it's not just that scene. Every other scene is like out of place because they couldn't understand the tone. Like the story. I think the story. Okay, like there's I was telling them last time about Paolo Sorrentino. I think he should have been the director. There was rumors that he was, and there's like.
Blake made a good point that it should have been directed
this is just the poster
by
and
who?
stuff.
I'm sorry.
Oh, I said this movie should have been directed by either like what's his name?
I don't. Not Scorsese or Russell. I don't think so.
Yeah,
David
I think
O.
Russell. This feels like
I don't
this
think
feels
so.
like it was going for that kind of David O. Russell, like wacky characters, like all kind of like doing weird shit, like the whole movie.
I get.
Like I was thinking about American
yeah.
Hustle and how much fucking
That's much better. That is much
movie
better.
is.
But I think he does. David O. Russell.
This movie had it needed a director that would put
energy and wasn't 83.
This movie has no fucking energy. It's just like kind of sterile.
No, it's because like Ridley Scott doesn't like to move the camera as much, and then unlike
this feels like a fucking movie where you have to.
Yes,
Does it not feel?
Yes,
like,
it does. And the color grading is off.
This
it's so
movie-
bad. It should be super vibrant, super colorful, like the Great Beauty directed by Paulo Sorrentino is like it probably is like what this film should have been.
The high fashion world, and especially with like such like a legacy like Gucci and stuff, it should have just been like striking a lot of the visuals.
Oddly enough, Baz Luhrmann would have been a better choice.
Yeah,
I don't even love Baz Luhrmann stuff.
Yeah,
but just
like
does visuals.
visuals. I know
Does his
what you mean.
visuals?
Yeah, I know
does
what
his
you mean.
visuals. I'm not
Yeah.
talking about like his narrative handling is super weird. Yeah,
I don't think he would have helped the story at all.
No, not the
but,
story, but I'm
like,
talking about like, visuals.
Yeah.
Like,
Visually, that
because
was
at least
appropriate.
this was such a mess. At least visually, I was expecting something, but then it was just what the fuck.
This movie just
I don't
doesn't
think.
I already know how
I
he
don't
likes
think.
to
I don't think
adapt
Russell.
Italian dramas.
I get what you're saying with David O. Russell. I don't think he would have been a good choice because he usually likes to do with either blue. I mean, he does sometimes white collar crime.
Yeah,
but it's usually
way
but
more
not. But yeah, it's very
lower
like American based stories for Italian stuff. The only American filmmaker that I think could have
Who
done
did
this.
Devils Wear Prada? You know, they should just done that.
What's it called? No, I think it needed more style and visual panache than that. What's it called? But I think the only American filmmakers I could see possibly doing this is Martin Scorsese. But even then,
Scorsese's would have been great.
but even then, I don't think it would have been a good choice. I think you did need like an
Anderson?
Italian.
Wes Anderson.
Why
No.
the fuck would Wes Anderson direct this?
No, you know what? Because he's so into the Euro cinema aesthetic.
You know, Werner Herzog should have directed this.
Oh, you know what? I whatever. That shit would have been funny as fuck.
Nicholas Winding Refn.
No, but I think actually that would
the Gucci family would have started eating each other if Refn
yeah,
did
but
this.
I think it should have been like an Italian director. Like it really should have just been an Italian director
bathing in
who
blood.
understood the basic like
Glitter.
like who understood the culture pretty well and the history. Because for Italians, not even just Italians, this was like when 1995 happened, it was a fucking huge. I mean,
Okay.
I wasn't born then, but then like I did hear about it afterwards. And just like it's
That's put
crazy.
everyone on the spot here, but can you think of like any modern Italian directors?
Paulo Sorrentino. I said this name like three times.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
I just-
Paulo
yeah.
Sorrentino. Yes.
Yeah. What's it called? Yeah, he's probably he has a film coming out, The Hand of God, on Netflix. You guys should just watch, which we will cover eventually in our Oscars best foreign animated film.
Gotcha.
Yeah, and he has visual panache, moves camera like a beast.
panache.
Yeah, and then like he's known for like high contrast yellow reds and all that stuff,
It
which
would've
would
been
have
fun.
worked for this film.
Also, by the way, I just know that this movie's going to get nominated for best makeup and best wardrobe and shit.
you
for,
can't even
like-
tell with the color grading though.
No, I know.
Yeah.
It annoys me, and I've said this before about like when films are like shot outdoors, like kind of naturey, like Revenant and shit, where they get nominated for an Oscars, and I think it's cheating a little bit. And yes, I know there's some really great cinematography there
In The Revenant.
but
Revenant
in the
was-
Revenant,
Revenant
yes,
was
there's great cinematography there. But I'm just saying, I think it's cheating a little bit when you're like an outside nature where it's like looks so great. It's kind of just there in
I get
nature's
that,
majesty.
yeah.
So I feel like when movies like this, when it's like a fashion drama thing, they're of course going to get nominated for best wardrobe and stuff, and they're probably going to win because it's Gucci. So like it's all like high fashion shit. But I think it was weak in that aspect because there's a lot of the fashion that I was really expecting to like just
I think
fucking
maybe
pop, and it
it
just kind of
would have
like,
popped
eh.
out more with like if the colors
Yeah,
actually popped up.
I get
if
what
the
you mean.
colors
Yeah,
actually
yeah.
popped up.
No, yeah, I know.
Yeah.
But also, I know they're gonna get nominated for makeup for Jared fucking Leto's.
Oh, yeah,
stupid,
yeah.
ugly ass. Like
And the thing is, I don't even
ogre
blame. Okay, I do kind of blame
character.
Jared Leto, but then like I think in the sense that he understood what the movie should have been. He really did. He's like, but I see
I
why.
like giving him way too much props, man.
Like-
I
That's
think
okay, this is part of the
But I don't
this is
think.
like a fucking unstitched blanket. There's just threads hanging out everywhere, and they're like,
And it-
yeah, Jared Leto might have known what the fuck the movie should have been, but guess what? Nobody fucking else did.
Well, I guess Lady Gaga, like kind
besides,
of.
like,
Right?
yeah, but
Yeah, but she was fantastic.
Lady Gaga was
She had the
great.
best balance, I think.
I think she was fantastic.
But
she's the best performance.
And I was totally expecting to hate Lady Gaga too going in.
I agree.
She was annoying me in the trailer. I'm sorry.
Really?
The trailer, and I was trying, but I went into it trying to be like, I'm not gonna, go into it with negativity.
I will say this,
but I was
I'm
like,
glad
man,
that Lady Gaga was actually like kind of a full character, because from the trailer, I was fully expecting her to just be evil woman.
Yeah.
I do like that she actually is a full character in this.
Well,
Like,
that's what you hope with any movies, right?
Yeah. Well, she felt like she had some compassion and love for him, and you felt it, and she was angry, and you understood, but also like you're kind of scared of her.
Yeah, in real life, she was a more cold-hearted bitch. If anything, this movie is like
Humanized
super misrepresentative of all the events that happened. Okay, so first, I'll get into historical accuracies, and we'll talk about this. So besides that, Paulo, was a good designer or a decent designer. He invented the fucking logo.
You mean he wasn't a clown?
Yeah, and I love how him and Aldo, played by no, that's Rodolfo. Aldo is Al Pacino's character. Yeah, they just died off screen, and then what's it called? So they make it seem like he got fired, or they make Mauricio fired him, but wasn't. They made it seem like he was a bad designer. That really wasn't the case. And on top of that, he didn't look like a gremlin. And also Mauricio, I mean, he was a little awkward, but they made it seem like he was autistic, like in the beginning. And also, and he became like a huge playboy at the end, and they didn't quite sell that part of that film. And also, how in the film, like near the end, where they gave him the offer for $150 million, which is actually 170 in real life, but $150 million to sell his shares of the company, and it seems like he didn't take it, and he just ate and it got shot. So in real life, he did sell it, and it was 2 years before his murder.
Oh my god!
Yeah, it was actually 2 years before his murder, and he was chilling with I think Paolo, or I think not Paolo, it's a Paulina or something.
Sorry, this just goes into what we're talking about. Tom Ford. I'm just reading these headlines. Compared House of Gucci to surviving a hurricane. Hard to see the humor and the camp. He said he laughed out loud watching House of Gucci. He mocks Jared Leto's performance and compares it to Saturday Night Live.
Because the thing is, he knows Paulo.
Yeah, right. Like he probably met all these people and he knew them.
It's like, what the fuck is happening?
It made him deeply sad.
Yeah, and it's just like, and it's weird that they did that. They
for several days. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
the movie fucking depressed Tom Ford.
Yeah, and also Tom Ford. I don't think the person they cast. I love the actor they cast for Tom Ford. Yeah. But I don't think he did a good job portraying Tom Ford, because Tom Ford is like, he's more of a character than that. Okay,
so Tom Ford is now officially a fucking Oscar nominated director and stuff, right? So
he's Oscar nominated for best screenplay, but not director. Yeah, but he's a great director. Yeah,
but yeah, well, I mean, he could have directed. Yeah, I was gonna say, should he have directed this movie?
Yeah, actually, you know what? Yeah, he wouldn't have taken it, but
yeah, right. Like, I mean, I understand it's kind of weird because he's in it, so it's like, I don't know. It would have been interesting to see him from that perspective, like someone who actually comes from high fashion.
We watched Nocturnal Animals together, right?
No, we didn't.
We did. Oh, that's sad. I'm so sad that we have it.
I know he probably would have made this movie sad as fuck too, but
it's beautiful.
At the end of the day, the biggest problem with this movie, though, was the fact that in between scenes there was no connection between the scenes at all.
Oh, you're talking about the and it didn't help with the jarring editing.
Yeah.
Editing is fucking atrocious.
But it was like, it's like generally you have a flow to your scenes where one scene kind of leads into the next thing, or if you're doing multiple plot lines, then you understand that you're going back and forth between plot lines, and then there's a build up and a conclusion. And it felt like throughout the entire movie, it was like a scene would start and resolve a plot line, and it's like, okay, we're done with this now, and it would move on.
They should cram everything in a movie.
It didn't work for me.
This movie has no beats.
And also,
there's no the daughter. Can I just say? Their daughter. They had a daughter, and
it grows up within the.
Yeah, you don't see her until a half an hour later, and then she's 5 years old.
Yeah. The time passes so bad.
And then later, when he dies, and they cut to his daughter, and she's like 15. I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah. It's actually like, cause it took a long time. Like their whole thing, they've been actually divorced for a while. It's just like the way they represented it's such a fascinating actual fall, and a lot more shit happened in between. Like, when he kicked out Aldo from the family, Apollo, to when he sold his shares. And also, I think this showed, like, I think it's bad directorial choices, or they just got lazy. Because how they were like, oh, you're just, what's called misusing misusing our finances and, buying stuff.
Yeah.
But the thing is, even though like you have someone with dialogue saying this must have been expensive, you got this, right? But you never actually see him buy anything, right? It's the difference between like this and Wolf of Wall Street. Like you see the extravagant expenses because he actually has like the physical object of the money, and it's a montage of him buying stuff, right? And that's how you understand the extravagance and the opulence that these characters are doing.
There's one moment where you see him walking towards the Lamborghini, and the lady's like, "What? Like this must be expensive."
But it has no impact because he doesn't buy it. He doesn't put any money to it.
He just kind of like shrugs it off, like whatever, and it's like, okay.
Or you don't see him buying it. That's
I guess
the thing.
so. Like, yeah, that was like the one moment I was like,
you have to show that he's irresponsible
there's
for
only
it to
one
work.
scene where they talk about the opulent expenses, and that's where they're telling.
But they're
him to
talking
sell.
about it, but they're not showing it. You
I
don't
was
talk
gonna
about it.
say,
You should show
with that-
him
with that
buying the
scene
money.
with the Lamborghini, I'm not getting the impression that he's like blowing all his money. I'm just thinking, oh, he's doing well. He's paying himself off. Like, hey, good
And
for
that's
him, I guess.
and that's why when the incident happened, I was like, you know, I get it because like, you know, like I knew about the Gucci family dynasty and shit, but then it made like I imagine for regular audiences, it's like, wait, what? This just came out of nowhere, right? Yeah. And also, this movie made it seem like he didn't take the offer. He's all prideful and stuff. No, this bitch was a sellout. He sold his shit like immediately. He's like, okay, I'm doing bad. Give me $170 million and to blow it off more. And then he gets killed by Patricia Reggiani. And you know, in actual real life, one of the reasons why she killed him was not. I mean, love was probably part of it, and jealousy and stuff. But it was really because her alimony was going to get cut in half.
Oh.
Yeah. So it was like, it's so weird. This is such like the worst approach to this history, the worst approach to this fascinating thing. It should have been more of a political infighting drama. But if you're going to go camp,
Should've
right?
been like Arcane, dude.
Yeah. If they're going to.
But even if it was a political drama and camp, I would have loved to see a campy TV show.
Yeah, it could have done both.
I think
honestly,
the reason this movie just like frustrates me is because I see like a great what could have been, where I'm like, I fucking, like I said, I love white collar crime movies, and not just that, I love movies about people just like scheming, right? And that's what this should have been. It's like Lady Gaga shows up. She marries Adam Driver. You could even follow what kind of happens in this movie, which is the one thing I liked. I just wish it was done right, which is, you know, he's like uninterested in the family, and he's just like, oh, I want to be a lawyer or whatever. And she kind of like transforms him into a monster, right?
His little Michael Corleone.
Like,
you know?
she transforms him into a monster throughout the movie, and then he like destroys basically everyone, and then it backfires on her, so she decides to kill him. Could you imagine that movie done well? Like, that would have been fucking great. But
the transition happens way too fast.
Okay, and here's part of the fucking thing too, is I feel like in this movie, there's no time for it to breathe. In the very, very beginning, they introduce her, and she goes on like one date with them, and then they're getting married. And I remember thinking this in the theater, going, okay, they got that out of the way. This is a long movie. I didn't fucking realize that every fucking thing was going to be handled like that. Like, I visibly saw you get upset when the dad dies, and it just kind of cuts to like his like fucking, because he goes, it's time for you to run the company, son, and then it just cuts to him in like a casket.
Yeah.
And that's like everything in this movie.
Yeah.
There's just, I get that I get that we're dealing with decades, but you also have like 3 fucking hours to do it. I agree with Miles, it should have been a miniseries. However, it still could have been done in a more genuine way.
If you know the history of Gucci, it's not possible. They actually cut out all the interesting shit from the
you
series.
can cut out,
and I think all the stuff they included was like the least interesting part of it. I think if you want to do the story justice, it's impossible doing a movie.
It really felt like it. It felt like they were trying to go for key moments for the story of Maurizio becoming that, you know, monster who betrays the rest of his family because of his wife, and then ends up leaving his wife because he's like, no, I'm too good for you now, and then going on to basically sell off Gucci. That was like the story line.
But you never actually see him sell off Gucci. That's a crazy thing. Like they directly imply that he didn't.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah, and it's gross. And then also the murder was way more horrific. And oh my gosh, this film is just like, you know what? My rating, I had a certain rating. It was actually kind of positive. But after just talking about it, when we get the final things, I think it's still going to land a certain part of it. It's not good.
One thing that annoys me too, could you imagine, like, you actually just awoken an idea in me, how interesting this could have been if the real focus was she turns him into a monster, but like the reason he even liked her in the beginning was because he was kind of humble. If that's why he left her, because he's like, oh, I'm like high and mighty now. Fuck you, you poor bitch.
It could have worked.
That would have been fucking good.
That's where I thought it was going the entire
in a
movie.
miniseries, not a movie. It's a really possible.
But why not make it a miniseries? I feel like
I think it's going to get picked up, it's going to be on Shudder, and they're going to focus
Yeah.
on Jared
No,
Leto's
I'll say
character.
this.
He's going to become like a.
Eventually, what's gonna happen? But then again, also Italians, like, it's such a touchy subject for them that they don't want to do this. But I think eventually, and also they don't even touch on the because he's instrumental, because honestly Patricia stuff is like the least. I mean, it's kind of cool, but it's not really the most interesting part of the Gucci family dynasty. And also the founder is actually like, he's more instrumental. He barely even mentioned the founder of Gucci, their dad, their grandpa.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? It's just a fucking terrible choice.
Yeah, they just say, oh yeah, he was like a bellhop or something, and then he was like, then he decided to go make leather goods.
And Aldo, yes, was good in, like, you know, helping build up Gucci, but he wasn't like, definitely they make it seem like he was instrumental. He wasn't. He was the dad.
Also, character motivations fucking shifted like crazy throughout this movie, because it was like, you first introduce what was the uncle's name?
Which one? Are you talking about Aldo?
Aldo.
Yeah.
So they introduce Aldo, and he's like, he wants to expand overseas and, you know, sell in Japan where they've got a really high market and stuff like that. And Rodolfo's like, no, we aren't going to do that. And then as things go on, it's like, what's it called? Maurizio picks up that same idea. He's like, yeah, we got to expand and stuff like that and really capture this whole market, and then gets totally blown down. And it feels like they keep on changing back and forth.
Okay, I'll say about that part. The reason why he got blown down from Aldo in the movie, not in real life, because in real life it's very different. But in the movie, he blown him off because they were arguing about the counterfeits. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's what happened. Yeah. And then he wants the counterfeits to happen because of the profits. But then for Maurizio, he's like, it's gonna devalue the brand. That's what they're arguing about. Yeah, and that's how he got blown off, not because of the expansion.
All right, guys, you want to wrap this one up to give up our reviews?
Yeah,
only an hour.
Right.
Yeah, we can wrap it up.
Yeah, wait, hold up.
Is that not okay? I thought, I don't know. I feel like we're kind of
we'll leave it there. Well, I mean, no, let's and then no, I get what he's saying.
You guys appreciated about this film?
No, I actually hated this film. Now I'm thinking about it.
Like I said, Lady Gaga. I think Jeremy Irons. I think Adam Driver was good. Al Pacino was good. Jared Leto was fantastic. Just kidding. I think that was pretty much it. Like, I think, again, the pacing kind of worked in the beginning. It sucked me in, and I kind of loved it. And I liked her character, and I liked watching where stuff was going, and it just fucking derailed, man.
Is this a thing of good actors but bad editing and bad script?
Yeah, yes. For sure.
It's not even. No, it's not even. And also that's not even that. It's not good actors. I really, as much as I loved Jeremy Irons and stuff, I think the only two people that were properly cast in this film was Lady Gaga and Al Pacino. One, he's an actual Italian, and I actually bought him as Aldo. Yeah. And Lady Gaga, even though she's not Italian, she looks like Patricia, by the way.
She's not Italian?
Yeah. Is she Italian?
I want to say she is Italian.
Okay, well, I don't know that. Well, even whether or not. Okay, well, I don't know.
Her name is like, her real name is like Stephanie something.
Okay, well, regardless, she looks a lot like Patricia. And also I'm surprised you guys were dreading her performance. She was fantastic in Star is Born.
I didn't watch that.
Her full name is Stephanie.
Have you seen Star is Born?
Jamoni Angelina Geramonata.
Oh, so she's Italian?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
She's
okay, never mind.
Idiot!
Never mind. Okay. What's up? But have you watched Star is Born?
No, I did not. But I've heard that's like, I mean, everyone knows it's her breakout performance.
Yeah, she got nominated she's an Academy Award nominated actress. So I was expecting good things. Like, I didn't like her American Horror Story. She was like not good. Nah. But in this one, like after Star is Born, so, you know, I was glad to see her good. So yeah, those are the only two positives in the entire thing. But I think when it comes to costume design,
about pictures,
costume design, color grading, direction, editing, I think it fails on almost all categories.
Yeah.
And it's also kind of offensive because to the family of Gucci, and that was the thing. And also Domenico De Sol, the guy played by Jack Houston, by the way, way more integral to the Gucci family, by the way. They make him like a side bitch. And at the end, they explain everything at the end with text. Lazy. Oh my gosh, I hate that. Oh, as much as like Unbreakable, I love that movie, but at the end, just with the fucking text coming out, lazy as fuck. I get it. You guys couldn't shoot the scenes. You couldn't do this. You wanted to take a big shit on, open your ass cheeks and take a shit on this story. Fuck you guys. Lazy text endings. I fucking hate text endings.
Outrage.
Okay,
Philip,
whatever.
Philip,
But
Philip,
it's fuck
Philip.
this movie.
No, that's
Have you
just
seen
become
The
a
Sandlot?
staple for like the historical.
But
drama
it
type
could
thing.
work better. But the thing is, they
Doesn't happen in Wolf of Wall Street.
big ass beats in text.
Oh, it does happen in
Ridiculous.
Wolf of Wall Street, doesn't it?
Is there text at the end of Wolf
Yeah,
of
at
Wall
the end,
Street?
Yeah,
he's
there
like,
is.
She
Oh.
went to
Huh?
In the middle too of Wolf of Wall Street, I thought.
Yeah, but at the end of Wolf of Wall Street, it's like stuff like his financial success, and this one's like characters die off screen and stuff like that. and if you look at the timeline, they died before the murder
before the
happened,
movie.
and I was just like, "What the fuck is this bullshit?"
yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, I do like how it's like, so Aldo's been dead for the last 30 minutes of this movie.
And, oh my god, fuck this movie. Okay, let's go into ratings.
Yeah.
I'm gonna break this mixer if we continue on. Okay, go on, Blake. You go first.
This movie will forever be one of those mini movies of just, that could have been great.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I'd say bargain bin.
I don't think it could. I go on.
This really disappoints me to say, but it's going shit bucket for me because it felt like they didn't have a good vision on what they were doing, and it was a waste of time to go watch it. Honestly,
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it a bargain bin. It was pretty disappointing. I mean, my hopes weren't really that high. I think, like I said, there's stuff I liked in it, but overall, I just it felt kind of more like a waste of time. Jared Leto is laughable. Fuck you, the Academy, if you even think about nominating him.
Who cares about
Because that guy has like, I don't know. We'll see. I hope he doesn't actually, but
He's gonna get nominated for some shit. I know, but
I don't. You know what? Actually, thinking about it, because I was reading about articles like there's like pushback against his performance.
good.
So I'm actually hoping that
I was like giggling every fucking time he was on screen. I was like, is he supposed to be comical, right? Like,
Yeah.
is he supposed to be like laughable because it's bad, not because it's like,
Yeah.
not because I'm like, his character's funny, but I'm laughing at him.
it's just
I don't
like
know.
it's just like I said, in a different movie maybe it would have worked,
yeah,
but just. And then as for Blake, who cares about the Oscars? It's kind of like this. It's like for a football fan, why do you care about the Super Bowl?
yeah,
Yeah,
I know.
it's literally the
I think
competition.
It gives
Yeah.
people. I would rather like people get nominated for like stuff get nominated in the Oscars from like last what's it called?
The Last Duel.
The Last Duel, because it'll draw some attention to that.
Yeah.
Because House of Gucci is going to get tons of attention because it's got big name.
Oh, it won't.
Whatever.
It was actually a contender for Best Picture, but once the reviews came out, people actually saw it. They took it out. Yeah, it's and rightfully so.
But yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Like it's so I think it does matter if stuff gets nominated or not, and it's like I really hope it does not. So then people aren't like, well, we got nominated for an Oscar for it, and it's like, shut up. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah.
What's it called? A lot of people do it. It's just not you. What's it called? So
The Oscars are stupid and they don't matter. And
with the Oscars, I'll say this: Oscars are stupid, but they do matter. Literally, they do affect the performance. What's it called? If you guys
They
look at the
affect
numbers,
the industry.
yeah, they do.
Yeah,
And
so-
people's rate, what they get paid, what how much money that makes in the ancillary markets, like streaming and shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
give
So
Spencer and Tatan an Oscar.
no, Spencer will guarantee to get nominated for. We're gonna talk about that.
I haven't even seen it, but it looks for great
what's
things.
it called? Okay, so immediately, this is Shit Bucket. Absolutely one of the worst films I've seen this year. And it wasn't, but when I was talking about it, just thinking about it and with the story and just going into it and how grossly misrepresents the family and the tragedy, and also how boring it is and how bad, and the bad editing and just it's really Scott at his worst. I think it's one of his worst films. But he had worse. Then again, it's hard
Phillips getting that
because
vein
G.I.
protruding
Jane
from his temple.
yeah, it's the Shit Bucket. I absolutely hate this film. Fuck you guys for watching this over The Last Duel. You guys like to watch because Lady Gaga and Gucci. Shut the fuck up and watch something good.
Now
House
let
of
me remind
Gucci.
you, I didn't want to watch either of these because I absolutely hate Adam Driver. But
fucking hate
Oh my god, dude. Okay,
Best-
because
one
you
of our
didn't see
best
The Last
living
Duel, and I'm sad because you haven't even seen Marriage Story, right? And the thing is,
I haven't
you
seen
don't
Adam
like
Driver
you don't
in
like
anything
you don't
good
you don't
except
like
for Black Klansman.
KK Klansman. Yeah, he was good in that. Exactly. We talked about it. We had a whole conversation with Miles over the phone where he's like, he sucks. I'm like, dude, he doesn't suck in the sequel Star Wars films because of him. He sucks because the scripts suck, and he did the best what he could do.
You know he hurt his back.
carrying the entire franchise.
Yes. Yeah. So it's
I told you that.
dude, he's one of the best actors we have. Period. I think right now, him and Timothy
1000%
Chalamet are the best. Like
maybe I'll change my opinion at some point.
Robert Pattinson, Adam Driver, and Timothy Chalamet.
And I love I was like going over. Okay, well, have you seen Black KK Klansman? Have you seen Patterson? Have you seen what's called Marriage Story? And he's like, no. Oh, you seen Black KK Klansman? But yeah.
You saw House of Gucci.
Like I said,
my opinion of Adam Driver.
What's it called? He did fine in that film. He was just miscast, honestly.
So fine.
What's it called? Shouldn't have casted him. Okay, so fuck House of Gucci. Love Last Duel. Blake should have watched it. You guys should. And Miles should. I'm calling you out. I call you guys out for not doing homework.
Okay, I wanted.
Oh wait, not Miles. Actually, not Miles. Technically, because he's our sound mixer, so he's not obligated to watch it. So it's actually fine.
Just Blake and Jason.
Yeah. What's it called? Oh, we're Jason's editor. So yeah.
Yeah. Fuck you, Jason. How did you not watch this movie?
All right. Thank you guys. Thank you guys for watching this. Another episode of Half a Clue movie review. Stay tuned for our next episode and look for updates on our Instagram page.
Can you guess what it is?
It's
wrong.
Dude, I'm not even sure what it is.
I know, because Blake doesn't like, technology or looking up or anything like that.
Hey, to be fair, on our schedule, it said 9 a.m. today. So,
well, no, I mean, but because that was the original. But then that's why I texted everybody.
Yes,
Discord, and I texted you too.
Whatever. You texted me. By the time you texted me, I was already asleep.
Yeah, but also I mentioned it on Friday. Yeah, okay. Infighting afterwards on our BTS. Thank you guys. Bye.